Emotions can be something that overwhelm us and be something that sort of knocks us off our center or takes us away from ourselves, reinforces habits that sometimes can be very unhelpful for us, maybe reinforce um, ways of being in the world that we want to change in some way to make more space for us, being happy or being more authentic, achieving the things that we want to achieve, but somehow not being able to get to them, getting in our way, really. And one of the key pieces of mindfulness, not just in a meditation sitting, but when we take mindfulness out into the world, is being mindful of emotions. Emotions can be really tricky because, unlike thoughts, that we're usually, not always, because we have some thoughts that are sort of in the background constantly, but thoughts can sometimes be easier to identify, you know. Emotions, however, are a little bit sneakier sometimes. Sometimes they really exist deeply underneath layers of emotion, underneath which all like come with some kind of belief, right? And these two things go hand in hand, emotions and beliefs, just like thoughts and beliefs. It all kind of comes back to beliefs, and one influencing the other, one supporting the other. And with the emotions and with the thoughts as well, reinforcing beliefs, we often can get very identified. And that's why we'll notice sometimes in our everyday life, somebody will say something or act toward us in a certain way, and we get really like defensive, you know. It's because we're reacting emotionally to some belief we have below that that person is triggering. Yeah. It's not really about that person. It's about how we're reacting to it. And it's really, we know all this intellectually, right? But we still get caught up in it all the time. We get caught up in it. And it's not just about how we interact or react with people around us. It's also about how we are with ourselves. And it all starts there, really. We're all sort of conditioned, and I like to sometimes call it like implanted with certain beliefs and ways we're supposed to be in the world. And it takes some real conscious work bringing all of these things up to the surface to really start to distinguish between what is a belief that we really hold and what is a belief that we have absorbed through whatever conditioning we've received from the things around us from our whole lives. Sometimes when emotions are really heavy for me, I imagine it like a fog sort of sitting on me that I'm just caught in and I can't see like even maybe 3 inches in front of my face. It helps me to sort of visualize that way because it gives me something that helps me to understand that it's not me. It gives me some space to disconnect my identity from the belief or the emotion or the thought. And in learning to give ourselves this space so that we can disconnect our identities is really crucial. Because as long as we keep our identities caught up in the belief or the emotion or the thought, we will always be sort of imprisoned to those beliefs that may or may not be in line with our values, with what we want out of our life and our authenticity. I think this becomes really apparent sometimes when people go through what we call midlife crisis. It's like, how did I end up here? I went through this sort of myself about 10 years ago, where, I kind of took a step back and I said, have I really made any of these decisions for myself? I feel like I've just been following a script, you know? And there would be times when something inside me knew I was not making choices for myself and I was just following the path laid out for me, that I wasn't being authentic to myself. So emotions would become very strong and I didn't really understand what was happening because it was so deep and I needed to sit with it and really kind of get to know it, right? So I would kind of begin to imagine this fog on me. And as I became more mindful of the emotions, as we become more mindful of our thoughts and emotions, and we can be with them, we can start to create that space that distances it, right? Becomes detached from our identities. There's a Tibetan monk that named Soki Rinpoche. I think I pronounced it right. And he had a way of defining it was, it's real, but it's not true. It's real, but it's not true. And that is so valuable when we are caught up in some kind of something that, that we feel isn't right for us, some emotion or thought pattern or even a numbing, when we walk through the world in a sort of numb state where maybe we feel like we aren't feeling anything, because that happens too. Emotions can be big and overpowering, or we can feel like we don't have any emotions. And I don't know, I wonder if this is something that men feel often. But I mean, anybody could feel that, some sense of numbness. So it's not just the big feelings, but the lack of feelings. I think that it's all sort of part of the same thing. And that's a really nice way of um, learning to not believe thoughts, not believe emotions, but still allowing them to be present. And a lot of times it's the lack of allowing that reinforces all of that stuff because it's like it wants to be heard. There's something inside of us that needs to be heard, needs to be listened to, needs to be nurtured in some way, but we're not listening to it, we're ignoring it, we're pushing it away. So it's not getting the attention it needs, so it gets stronger. So it can be a really valuable way of allowing ourselves to face it without feeling some kind of defensiveness or feeling like we're being threatened in some way. It's real, but it's not true. Yes, I'm feeling this feeling. Yes, it is there, but is it true? If I'm feeling sad and isolated and lonely, the feeling is very real. But is it true that I'm isolated? No, not really, because I could call a friend. I could go take a walk and talk to some strangers that I don't know. I can go get a coffee, talk to the people that work there. We have people around us all the time. And while that's a surface, that's not maybe a deep connection that we really need, it's a start, you know? Or we can go to our partner and say, hey, I'm feeling really lonely. And in a way that makes them understand that it's about something you're going through, not necessarily something that they're doing or not doing. So it's a really great reminder of how we can disconnect ourselves in a productive way. Um, Another thing we can say, I love this saying I came across recently. There's an Irish Celtic saying that I'm not going to try to butcher by saying the Irish, but it basically translates to the sadness is on me. And I would imagine that it could be stated like the anger is on me or whatever the emotion is. But again, it's another really great way of saying, it's an emotion and it's temporary and it's not my identity. So it gives, again, a little bit of space for us to look at it and be with it so we can start to hear it and understand what it needs. And that's the important jump, right? The going to disempower the illusion of whatever that emotion or belief is creating within us. We bring curiosity to it. We can't bring curiosity to something that we are all defensive about or feeling attacked by, right? But when we can turn toward it and just say, okay, what's this about? I'm feeling this. That's interesting. Even using a neutral word like that, right? Oh, let's see what's going on here. Or I'm listening, right? Talk to me. A lot of times when I sit down to do my meditation, I just say that. If there's nothing in particular I need to meditate on, I'll just say, you know, what do I need to listen to today? What do I need to hear today? And it's a real way of approaching ourselves in a compassionate and open way, that we're here for ourselves, because often we're not, you know, like I mentioned before, we're pushing things away. We are not seeing ourselves. We're not giving ourselves attention. And if attention is I heard this quote recently that attention is the highest form of love. If we're not giving ourselves attention and we're just giving, out everywhere else, we aren't really bringing love to ourselves. We aren't giving ourselves time and attention that we really need. So inquiry is really significant when we are being caught up in emotions that are tied to beliefs and thoughts, and it all's kind of tied together. So we can disempower the illusion. And and then we move into, because we're inquiring, we're really allowing ourselves to be in the experience within our bodies. And that's what mindfulness comes down to. It actually has nothing to do with the mind. It's about embodied presence, being fully present with whatever is happening in that moment. And emotions we often attach from, or we get so triggered by that we're caught up in them, and then we look back later once we calm down and we're like, where did I go? Like snapped, right? It's really us losing and losing touch with being embodied in that moment, in the emotion. So recognizing it, allowing it, and inquiring, investigating what's happening here. And then we can move into, once we're sitting with that. In this process, it's not like a one shot, like the first time we notice we fly off the handle and we're like, okay, let me step back and figure out what's going on. And then forever we're okay with being angry. It doesn't work that way. Our society likes one shots, but it's a process, it's a practice. And it's slow often because we haven't done it ever. And we've never been told that we have permission to do it. So we have this belief that we don't. But once we can kind of really go through befriending ourselves and getting to know the emotions and getting to understand, when this happens, I react this way, and starting to know it in our bodies, and intuition begins to develop around why it happens. So it's not like an analytical sort of exploring and, inquiring. It becomes really an embodied knowing, almost like, like an intuition, like a gut feeling. Okay, I understand it now in a very deep way. And I know that now I need to do this for myself. I need to give myself this nurturing. I need to maybe be with this person less, because something happens when I'm with this person, and it causes these sorts of emotions to come up, which causes me to lose connection with myself, which causes me to, act in this way that I don't want to act anymore. And so maybe I spend less time, put a little distance between me and that person. We start to learn the power that we truly do have to shape the world that we are living in for ourselves. And it all starts with ourselves. So really, it's fairly a very powerful practice. And we start by getting to know ourselves on the cushion. And that's why having a daily practice is so essential, even if it's 10 minutes a day. Often I have found that if I can, on days when I just for whatever reason, don't feel like meditating, I can just get myself on the cushion, everything else falls away, you know. Okay, I'm going to sit for 5 minutes. 5 minutes turns into 30 minutes because once I'm there, it's good, right? It's like going to the gym and getting there is the hardest part. So, I encourage you to find space in your day, even if it's 5 minutes in the car before you start the car to go home from work or whatever. It can be, you know, baby steps, baby steps. So let's go ahead and have a sit. So in this, you're welcome to have your eyes open or, open with just a soft gaze in front of you or closed completely. We'll begin by taking 3 deep inhales and exhales at your own pace. Just allowing your body to sink fully into this moment. And then allow your breath to come into its natural rhythm. Without forcing, without controlling or straining the breath. Just letting it move how it wants to move. Noticing how your body feels in this moment. We'll begin gathering our awareness into our bodies by focusing on the top of our head with a lightness, without too much forced concentration. Sensing the feeling at the top of your head and gradually moving down the face, the eyes and nose, the cheeks and mouth. Coming to pause momentarily at the jaw, noticing if you might be holding any tension in the jaw. And if so, just taking in a breath and on the exhale, releasing and relaxing the muscles in the jaw. Continuing down, bringing awareness to the sensations within your neck and your shoulders. Again, pausing a moment to notice if you might be holding extra tension here. And if so, on your exhale, just releasing it. Continuing to scan your awareness down your back and torso, into your stomach, lower back, down into the hips. And pausing just a moment to notice the sensations of the cushion beneath you. Continuing the scan into your legs, into your knees, down through your lower legs, your ankles, your feet on the cushion, and pausing here to allow your awareness to rest in the sensations of the feet, and just noticing how it feels in the feet. Noticing the pressure of the floor beneath you, or the pressure of the legs on top of the feet. Noticing what temperature may be there, if there's any tingling, throbbing, whatever is present, just notice it. Allowing the sensations within the feet in this moment to be the anchor that holds you in the present moment within your body. You may notice from time to time that thoughts emerge and take you away from the anchor. And when that happens, it's okay. Just notice that it's happened. Give it a label, something neutral like thinking, and let the thoughts go on their way like clouds in the sky. And gently bring your awareness back to the anchor in your body without judgment, just redirecting. Slowly begin to expand your awareness, growing it to include the sensations present in your legs, noticing how the feet feel, how the legs feel, how the knees feel, all together, holding the awareness lightly without forcing, without trying too hard. Just letting the experience within the bottom part of your body be in your awareness. thoughts emerge, just notice that they're there. Touch them gently with your label and let them float on through. Bring your awareness back to the bottom part of your body. Begin to grow your awareness just a little bit more to include the torso of your body, feeling of the hips, the seat on the cushion, your stomach and lower back. Just increasing the sphere of awareness within your body. And just noticing. Allowing the awareness to expand a bit more, to include the feelings within your hands, on your lap, feeling the sensation of your arms, your upper back, your shoulders. Just noticing. And expanding your awareness even more to include the sensations in your neck and in all of your head. Now resting your awareness in the totality of your body. Just noticing all of the sensations that are present. Noticing maybe how your awareness moves around your body. Noticing the different sensations. You may have noticed that one sensation is more prominent, you are more aware of within your body, wherever that may be. Allow your awareness to drop into that particular sensation within your body. Allow the knowing of that sensation to be fully within your awareness. Just noticing how it feels to be with this particular sensation in this particular part of your body. What it's like in this moment. If something takes you away from the anchor in this part of your body, just notice that it's gone. Touch it lightly with a neutral label and allow your awareness to come gently back to the anchor in your body without judgment, without force. Noticing what it's like to be fully present within the moment through the vehicle of your body. Just noticing. And as we come into the final moments of our meditation, if it feels right for you, I invite you to place your hand on your chest over your heart, sensing the solidness of the support of your body, the warmth shared between your hand and your chest, and the tenderness of this gesture. Offering yourself gratitude. Gratitude for clearing a time in your day to sit and listen to yourself, knowing that this attention is precious and so important. It's something you can come back to at any time in your day, in any situation, that it's always here for you. Close out this meditation, this poem, Light and Dark by James Kruse. Half awake, I lose myself in a pool of late morning sun and leaf shadows flashing on the floor outside my bedroom, what the Japanese call komorebi, light and dark held in the same container of a single moment, as we hold them in us, learning to love equally, a burst of joy welling up like wind in the crowns of trees, and a sorrow that still weighs us down like stones in the shoes, like swallowed clay. Today I stand at the edge of both, knowing that if I want to walk in the light, I'll have to dance with the shadows too. When you're ready, you're welcome to open your eyes and come back into the room.